Welcome to Hometown Headline. This is Weston.
This is Liam.
Reporting live from Marshall County, Full-Dall, where we cover all Marshall County news.
So today is a different and very special episode, so we will not be talking much about the headlines. But for the headlines,
warm weather is officially here. 50s and 60s.
Yeah, Weston was running around with his shirt off because it was so hot outside.
So Dairy Queen in Warren is officially open for the summer.
Yep.
Warren Drive-In Theater opens on the 25th.
Yep. So we had a pancake breakfast at the Rindall Sunday School Church, and it was a success this morning. It was very, very delicious. Biscuits and gravy that make you want to really have it. Pancakes that are delicious, and then sausages that are also very, very delicious.
So Vintage Carnival at Copper Ridge was also a success and good turnout.
So our interview today is with Albert Jorgenson, and he is 100 years old now, and he grew up in Full-Dall. He was the hired helper for my great-great-grandpa Oscar Florberg at Florberg Farms. Sometimes he struggled to hear us or understand, but he did great, and we are so thankful that he gave us his time and stories today. So on with the interview. So were you born in Full-Dall?
Yeah. I'm trying to think about Full-Dall. I was born on County Seat Johnson building.
Oh.
I think that's what they called it. Little tiny black house. Right on the corner. Well, do you know where Gus Johnson's live?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You probably don't know.
What was it like living here when you were our age?
Well, I used to run around, visit the neighbors when I was your age. Had nothing to do at home, so we had to go from place to place, talk to the kids, and have fun with the other kids. In those days, nobody worried about anybody. Never had trouble with kids being stolen or nothing. We could go visit a mile away.
Yep.
Come home, it'd be dark. We had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Now today, you don't dare do that.
No. Yep. Did you know my great-grandpa Russell Florberg?
Oh, yes, I knew him good.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good guy.
Yeah.
I worked for him, and then he took me to Warren, Minnesota when I was sick, too. He picked me up.
Yep.
Drove all the way from, we lived up on they call it the Indian Ridge up there north of Froberg. And he took me all the way to Warren when I was sick with appendicitis.
Yeah. So
he was a wonderful guy.
Yeah. So what was it like living here when you were our age? So like 11 and 9.
No, I was about 11 years old when I was working for him.
Yep.
And I knew Lester real good, Russell.
Yeah. So did you know if our grandpa Russell Florberg had a job?
I knew Russell real good.
Yep. Did you know if he had a job?
I don't know. I tell you the truth, I think he went to school, high school in Warren, Minnesota with my oldest brother, Roy.
Yeah, really?
And Russell did. They stayed in Warren, went to high school there.
Yep.
But that's a long time ago.
Yeah. So, did you and our grandpa Russell chase girls together at school?
No.
You didn't?
Did Russell, he got married, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
And do you remember who he married?
He married our grandma Clarice.
Oh,
Yep.
How much did you get paid for your job?
Pardon?
How much did you get paid for your job?
Paid for my job?
Yep.
Herding cows? 10 cents a day.
10 cents. Yeah, nowadays we get like $10 an hour.
And then I got board and room too.
Yep.
Because I stayed with him all summer herding cows. I think I was about 11.
Yep. Did you stay at the Floberg farm?
Yep.
Yep.
They had that two-story house, and over on the one side of it, they had a big dip.
Yep. So, for everyday things like getting food, getting water, or surviving the winter and keeping warm, how much different was it than today's experience?
I didn't get the first part of that.
So, for everyday things like getting food to eat, or getting water to drink, or surviving the winter, like heating and stuff, how much different was it than today's experience?
Well, I tell you, in those days, it was so cheap to get things done.
Yeah.
It didn't pay nothing for things like it is today. We used to buy gasoline for around, well, I remember I think it was down to 10 cents one time. The average run was around 18 cents.
Wow, that's really cheap.
And now today it's running around $3-4, I guess.
Yeah.
So, who are some other people who lived around here? Any fun stories or experience with them?
Well, when I lived on the Larson place, there's north of Floberg's, there was a Vince's that lived close to Floberg.
Yeah.
I don't know if did you know them?
No, I don't think so.
Then there was some Olsons and Engens east, or there was west of the school. That little school we used to go to. They lived toward the highway there.
Really?
Engens, and then there was the Olsons.
Yeah. So, the school actually, is like right where we live.
For that school, I think they moved that out of there to Warren, Minnesota. That school I went to.
Yeah. Now we
They moved that to Warren.
Yeah, but now we live where the school was.
Where do you go to school now? Any kids, where do they go to school? They pick them up by big buses.
Yep. Yes. And we go down to the New Folden School.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Holy man!
Yeah.
Well, the Folden School I heard was really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, when I went to it, there was just that square one in town.
Really?
Yeah, and then I heard later they built the one across the road. It went way further down north, I think it was a big school.
Wow. So are there any?
There's an old two-story building that I lived in made out of brick.
Yep. So where the school used to be in Foldall, we built our house there.
In Foldall?
Yep.
Yeah.
So are there any funny stories about my family from back then?
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Did growing up in Foldall teach you anything that you have used throughout your life?
I didn't get what you mean.
Did growing up in Foldall teach you anything that you have used throughout your life?
Roy, my brother?
No.
Did growing up in Foldall teach you anything that you have used throughout your life?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I got to thank for one thing. My math was excellent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but my spelling wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, boy, because I could use math a real good, darn good fast.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at math, but I'm really good at spelling.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was transportation like back then?
Transportation.
Yep.
When we went to school in the Folden,
Mm-hmm.
we went by they hauled us by car, and then in the wintertime they would go with a covered sled, a wagon, or covered sled with a canvas all around it.
Yeah.
Because there's too much snow.
Yep.
And then we used to jump out the back door, ride the sled runner, the runner on that was going up and down on the snow.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. That sounds.
There was probably, well, there's two kids out at the same time, one on each front side would ride that runner. And then once in a while we'd fall off, they'd slap the horses with the lines and they'd jump and go real fast. We couldn't catch up.
Really?
But then he'd stop and wait for me to catch up again.
Yeah.
Because we weren't supposed to ride back there.
Yep.
So he made us walk and run for a ways.
Yeah. So, do you think that there's anything that makes Foldall, like, special or unique from different, townships?
I gotta tell you a story about, we lived in a tin house one time.
You did?
Yeah. I don't know if you know the Larson place. We couldn't pay $7 a month rent. So they told us we had to move. So Dad moved. He built a tin house north of Larson's on the little ridge there. And no floor, dirt floor.
Wow.
All summer long, right there. And you know, about the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you could walk across the floor, the dirt, and it looked like a car was coming.
Really?
They'd come up off your feet, flying in the air. So Dad would go down to the swamp with a pail and get a pail of water. And then he'd pick up these rush bushes, and Hope had a big handful of them. And he'd dip them in the pail and splash it around in the dirt. Try and get the floor damp enough to, not wet, but damp enough so that the dust wouldn't come up off the floor when we walked through the house.
Yep.
But it was a tin house. That's all we had. Tin and a dirt floor.
Yep.
Then we moved from there up to the Folden, and we bought 40 acres there. They had an old schoolhouse on it.
Yep.
A one-room schoolhouse. So then Dad built that boards and 2x4s, another room onto it. But that school was insulated with sawdust.
Really?
Yep, the walls and the upstairs in the attic was all sawdust.
Huh.
And one room schoolhouse, and there was too many of us. So me and two of my brothers, we had to the night got cold in wintertime. We had to walk outside, go around to the end of the house, walk up a ladder, and open up a little cubby door up there and crawl in. We slept up there in the little attic.
Yep. So,
it was warm, but because the heat was coming right up from inside the house, coming right up to us. But there was no distance. We had to sit in the bed and put our shoes and stockings and everything on bed, our feet, our pants. We couldn't stand up. We just sat up, our head touched the roof. But we had fun.
Yeah.
That live and learn. See, when you have a rough time like that when you're little, usually you straighten yourself out. You know how to go at it to end up good.
Yeah. So, what was life like in the log house?
In the log house,
Yep.
well, that wasn't too bad. There was a lot of room.
Yeah.
It was pretty darn big log house, but
Yeah.
it wasn't much. The heat system was no good,
Yeah.
and I don't know, we had a hard time finding enough dry wood because everybody was after the dry wood to burn it for winter.
Yeah.
And then so we had to haul back, but then later on in the winter, me and my two older brothers and me, we used to have to go. Dad was working in biking,
Yep.
traveling roads through the WPA project, and me and Roy and Kenny would go and haul hay home on a big old sled for
Really?
the cows. Oh, it was rough, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
Snow and cold. God, it was cold. Snow about 3-4 feet deep all over.
Yep.
And now
So-
now they don't know how to get snow.
Yep. So what was the drinking water like?
Well, in the wintertime, we was drinking out of the swamp.
Yeah.
It dug a well about 15 feet away from the swamp,
Yep.
deep enough, and then the water would drift through the dirt into that hole, and then that's if we fed the cows. We turned the cows out, they'd run down there, and we had a trough there. We'd pail full of water out of that with a pail and a rope, dump it in that trough.
Yeah. So
And then we'd take a pail home to the house to drink.
yeah.
In the wintertime, it would freeze, that trough would freeze up on us. We had to take a little hatchet, we'd chop the ice out of it in order to get enough water in there for the cows to drink.
So what was it like?
Those days were rough, let me tell you.
Yeah. So what was it like hunting and trapping?
My pardon?
What was it like hunting and trapping?
Trapping?
Yeah.
Well, we trapped mostly weasel in the wintertime and mink, those two.
Yep.
Mink, we got a lot of money for mink. Weasels, we'd get probably $1 a piece for them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for and there's the little tiny short ones, they call them kits, little kits.
How about
10 cents for them.
yeah?
And then we used to hunt deer in the wintertime to eat.
Yeah. So
I learned how to live in those days, and when I got older, you could do pretty good. If I'd had it real easy and soft and nice, I wouldn't have known how to take care of myself.
Yep. Yeah.
I appreciate everything I did, everything they gave me.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever have to trap badger?
Pardon?
Did you ever have to trap badger?
Badger? Yeah, we trapped one badger.
You did?
Yeah. But it took us about, oh my God, it must have been 2 months. We finally caught him.
Yeah.
And all we'd get was hair in the trap.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd come home and crying, hey, we didn't get him again. And that badger, we must have tried to trap him for 2 years.
Wow.
Finally, Dad figured it out.
Oh.
He says, I'll go with you and we'll set the traps. One on each side, about 1.5 foot into the hole on the side. And so he made some kind of a pins, and we'd stick them on the traps after we set them, and we'd shove these pins into the dirt the trap was on the side, hanging on the side. And we caught it. And because when they walk in the hole, they don't walk with their feet on the bottom of the hole. They walk with their feet out toward the side. They're smart.
Yeah, they are. They sound like a. That sounds like
we caught that one badger at last.
Yeah, that sounded like a tricky badger.
Well, we skinned him, stripped the hide off, and ate him.
Yeah. Did it taste good?
We ate a lot of stuff but nobody else has eaten.
Yeah. Did it taste good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were hungry.
Yeah.
Everything tasted good.
Oh yeah.
But we never ate weasel. We didn't eat those. I don't know why, but we did.
Yeah.
We used to pick up snake root. I don't know if you call that. You know what snake root is?
Yep.
It's a medicine.
Oh. Yeah.
And the Indians used to come walking across our fields with a spade, and they'd step on it and then work the plant loose. And it was about a foot high.
Huh.
And then they'd shake dirt off and then cut the top off, and they'd step in the hole so you wouldn't even know you did it.
Oh.
But that's called snake root, and you can buy it at the drugstore.
Oh yeah.
And we drank for medicine most of the time.
Yep. Did you ever eat skunk or coon?
We used to drink skunk juice too. Skunk oil.
Yeah. Did it stink?
And the fat, we take the fat off the skunk.
Yeah.
There was no smell, no nothing.
Really?
Put it in the stove and let it cook real slow, and all the fat would turn into 3/4 of it would turn into water, like the water. And then it was just a crust left. We pull that out of there, and then we used the other one for drinking.
Yeah.
Just like medicine. Got a bad cold or something. And then I remember Mother used to smear it on our chest. And when we went to sleep at night, we breathed in that smell, that oil.
Yeah.
It would loosen up our cold.
Yeah.
And here you can still buy that skunk oil. Well, we had a book. I had a doctor's book here. And I don't know who I gave it to. And in there, it was skunk oil for medicine.
Yeah.
And when he seen that, he wanted the book. He hounded me for a year. I finally gave him the damn book. It was a doctor book.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was my oldest brother or not. Wrongly, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot, I'll tell you.
Yep. Well, thank you for talking with us.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Nice talking to you.
Yep. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.